Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we time to an item from the Dollar Tree. This is for Christ the King Sunday out of the Revised Common Lectionary, and we're looking at the theme of Christ the King. And I get drawn to Crossway's Bible Study, where they have a great illustration of Christ the servant king, where Christ is on his knees serving, and he's got a crown and he's kneeling. And I love this image of Christ the servant and Christ the king as Christ is serving. And it completely works at our heads in a different way of what we think of a king being. Now, granted, we don't have kings here, and so it might be completely a foreign concept, but the idea of someone having power over us or lording something over us is not that foreign. I mean, we all have it. Two things came to mind, two stories, and they're stories about how we can have power over, or in the sense of a power under, of lifting someone up. The item I'm using from the Dollar Tree is actually graham crackers. And for me, the reason I'm using graham crackers is because there's a story connected to them, but it has to do with my brother, my older brother. I have a story about my younger brother. I remember when we were at a sporting event, and my younger brother starts tapping me. You know, that whole thing, stop touching me, stop touching me, stop touching me. But he's tapping, and he's tapping me. And he says, you know, John, all you have to do is tell me to stop. All you have to do is tell me to quit it. All you have to do is tell me to stop, and I will. And the image of power over, it's like I am doing something, and I'm going to force your hand to do something. It has that feeling of how the world lords over. Graham crackers, for me, was a story about when I was a kid. A lot of stories when I was a kid, but my older brother and his friend Matt were in their bedroom playing, and of course, having the best time ever. My imagination running wild about all the things that are happening behind that door. And I would knock on the door and ask them, please, please, can I play with you? And they would say, go to the kitchen and get us some graham crackers, and we will let you into the room. So I'd run into the kitchen and I'd say, Mom, can I have graham crackers? Bobby and Matthew want to have graham crackers. And my mom would say, John, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And I would beg, and they would give me graham crackers, and I would run in and I'd knock on the door. I've got graham crackers for you. I would be let in, and then, as my mom puts it, not 5 seconds later, I would be jettisoned from the room. And again, this idea that that's how power can be viewed. It's to get something, and I'm going to use you, but Christ, Christ, our King, Jesus doesn't act in that way. Jesus is always about serving the other. That we become powerful and that we become Christ-like when we are serving the other. When did we see you? You saw me when you visited me in prison. You saw me when you fed me. You saw me when you gave me clothes. That when we reach out and we see and we act in that way, that is using the power of Christ, Christ the King, in all of the right ways. So that's where I'm going with this, is really looking at how Christ comes in and turns things on its head, and about how we experience it in one way in the world, but then how Christ leads us into a different direction. So I hope this can be a springboard for your own thinking around your children's sermon. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fantastic week.